this will be I think this will be my 14th or 15th
Wow.
year doing pigs. We'll go pick them up on Saturday.
And how many do you do?
This year, normally it's 4, last year was 6, this will be my 14th or 15th year doing pigs. We'll go pick them up on Saturday. And this year will be old spotted and how many heritage pigs. This year, normally it's 4, last year was 6, this will be next year. 15th year doing pigs. We'll go pick them up on Saturday. This year will be old spotted and how many heritage pigs. This year, normally it's 4, last year was 6, this will be next year. 15th year doing pigs.
Is it? See, this is what happens.
I
hit some. Is it hit no live? See, this is what happens. We'll see the next time.
The rest of the time, the rest of the time, we take the scraps to the sometimes you need something.
All right. I just put that X in here.
Yeah.
I guess so. Once you you'll hit the X, then I'll go right back to the bottom and you're all set.
All right, we don't want anything
Good.
else.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're right.
I hit it. I hit the X, but it didn't do. So I guess I didn't hit it hard enough. Okay, I guess we're calling this meeting to order.
4:31.
What time do you have, Maura?
4:31 on the phone. 4:31.
Okay. And Chris Wright is our guest. Okay. Are there any changes in the agenda? Anybody notices, wants, etc.? And comments from the public? Would you like to make a comment? No comments from the public. Okay. Okay, first order of business is to approve the minutes from June 19th. You have that in front of you.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
A second.
And then, because it's been second in your discussion, all I would say that we should add in the minutes today is why we didn't have the meeting on July 10th.
Okay.
And put that in the minutes of today. Just to note it,
Okay.
that it was postponed, it was canceled due to some other thing, but I that's the only thing that needs to be addressed.
Okay. So motion by Maura. And seconded. Okay. So all those in favor of the motion? Yes.
Well, Sue can't vote.
Well, I can't vote on the minute.
All right.
No.
Okay.
Yes, they're abstaining.
Okay. Okay, so under old business, I just wanted to bring up the idea of ambassador groups and which we've talked about, but I think the whole idea is to, now that we will be nominating people for the board of directors, and that is going to happen this week at the select board meeting. The next step is to start to really think about I mean, it could put us out of business actually as a committee once we get them all, if that all happens, you know.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's what, that's what I'm thinking too. So we'll be back into the regular facility committee, which we are anyway, but to think about what the next steps are, and that is building a group of good supporters and having. And as I mentioned at the facility committee meeting, if each of us contributes by offering to have a couple of house gatherings where we invite people to come and talk about the project. And maybe our board of directors can also appear at some of those meetings, so we start to build support and knowledge. I have some things about, you know, what the knowledge is, what people are thinking as far as misinformation or disinformation or lack of information, you know, so I would like to see us take our hats off as nominators and go into ambassador group. Yep. All right.
Well, I think we can use the list of people that came to all the 3 meetings because they brought up good questions. And so those people could be invited as well to these ambassador groups and enlarge the group.
I think
To
that's
other
a
people.
great idea. Which I'm gonna talk about under new business in a minute. Those at the presentations, yeah. And also our neighbors who may not have shown up, and you know, people that we know in our own community, our own.
I think again, you know, we may want to look at the town with a map. Look at the streets, where are the population groups, and can we have information disseminated in all areas? Because, you know, we know people on some streets, but some other areas of town, I know absolutely nobody. So how do we reach people?
Mhm. So to really sit down with the map, and
Yes.
really,
Penny's trying to get in.
what?
Penny's trying to join the meeting. I don't see that. I don't see that you have. Are you on the auxiliary, on the nominating meeting, or are you?
It was already set up by Hannah. All I had to do was hit recording and then set up the YouTube. So I don't know. I didn't go back that far. It was set up by Hannah.
And she did say, the.
Yeah, she asked that and we said nominating. Do you want to,
Oh,
should I hit this?
I know, because I don't know what the audio settings are.
Can you invite her?
It doesn't come up.
Well, you can, do you have her email? Because you can invite her, from a Zoom meeting, you can invite someone to join, send them an email or a text.
Participant 1, so who is the participant? Like check on participant at the bottom. You had your mouse, I need to go back to where you were.
Come on over here. Because
Yeah, she could be
if I do
there,
it, it's
could
not
be
gonna
there
work.
and
So
you might have to
were
let her in.
Here, participant. Here you been invite. So who can we don't know how to do that.
Oh, do you need a pet?
See, you could have, she's not showing up in the meeting, so.
You should be able to send her that passcode
Yeah,
by text.
This code?
No,
That
this was
free-
meeting pass 397.
Yeah.
685. But no, but we need to be able to have her
No. Because every time it kind of.
invite
People
people to
that
join
press it, you have to
email.
Wait for the technical.
No, I don't know how to do
And
it.
I have. to do through the code.
Here,
Wait a minute, she's
And I
here.
understand it when someone's away. It's all wonderful. It's just.
But that all the meetings have to be.
admit,
And
Or-
but to me, nominating should not even be on here.
No, there. Oh, it won't be right.
So-
It is.
Well, the committee is, but then.
so who is the iPad?
Well, yeah, that one issue. with
Well, where is us?
Yeah.
I never knew about it until the next meeting.
ask it to ask the iPad to unmute and put up a video.
Okay, I see.
Just click on where it says ask to unmute. I think if you just click on that blue box when it comes up.
Well, I tried, it's not real. It's not showing, so I don't even know who that is.
I'm sorry. Can we just go on? And Terry can figure it out. I'm just one, that's.
No, it's the problem is that I'm.
You'll get flack for it. You'll get flack for it.
Yeah, I got flagged for,
Yeah,
so I don't want that. You know, it's not that I'm not trying, it's every time I do this.
Do you have a phone number for her? Can she go on a speakerphone?
And we used to see
let's see what Terry tells us.
Well, now it says participants too. Oh,
yeah,
you
because
got those.
Terry, so this one. Post
Can
and
you
iPad.
invite? There's an invite thing down there. Can you invite her?
But I think that's Penny honestly on the iPad.
I think so too.
No, I don't have a phone number, I only have an, her email address.
Yes. Terry, what's going on?
And we need to know, I mean, we identify who attends the meeting, so then this, we need to know who that is.
Yeah. It would be a good idea.
And you see the problem.
Well, yeah.
You know, and we checked it, you know. Didn't know why that reverb was going on.
Yeah, that usually only happens when there's another computer in the room.
Yeah,
There isn't.
Or another speaker.
Oh, okay.
A speaker can do it too, if you have two connections. Because my husband and I used to,
oh, have that.
we would talk, call it family,
Mhm.
and he'd want to see if he could do it from a different room and even within
yeah.
the space, and like, Penny isn't gonna work. But
They say you're not on YouTube. Hannah's coming back.
So
I
this
just
is the thing.
So this, I didn't set this up, you know, all I have to do is press the button.
Sue, please
Which I
make
did.
note of that. It was all set up. All she had to do was hit pause. Or that, whatever the button was for YouTube or something.
She hit pause.
No, that's what you had to hit.
I had to hit pause to get rid of the.
No, to put you on. That's why I asked her to put it in writing on, because she was telling you things.
real careful.
I said, make sure it's in writing, so you.
Well, she did bring something in writing. And
Well, they're coming back because they're doing things.
You're live on YouTube.
thank you.
Okay.
All right,
Well, Penny
so
said
now,
to Terry, we weren't.
Yeah, I don't know. We did check, you guys are on YouTube.
so we didn't know why she didn't show up as being admitted. And
See the iPad?
but we don't know, but
We don't know who the iPad
we
is.
can't seem to locate.
Well, she thinks you let her in, so I think she,
But I never pressed, I mean, there was this up at the top when
And we never saw her.
we never saw her. Her coming in, and then this one, I don't know, when,
yeah, so this, why it's black is because it's showing, person.
I just went in.
this is
and-
showing Penny right now, or showing,
yeah, but she doesn't have her,
yeah.
But
this
who-
is her, she's not, she's muted in her. Can't
You
see
know,
it.
it's, you know for a fact that it is Penny?
No, I'm just saying, if it is her, then this is,
But they gotta show their face.
Mhm.
a name you should come up.
yeah, but
Mhm.
unless you
The name
don't
is so
change it from iPad.
But
I only do
I'm
mine
going
on-
into the Zoom, not into,
Yeah,
not into.
Yeah, or it depends on what device you're using, like,
I don't use my laptop.
I don't know why.
I don't use my
that's
iPad.
not working right. but
There's
that's fine.
things that I don't understand.
No,
I
this
ended up
person,
with my iPad
Okay.
for some reason.
she's on the phone with Penny to see if,
And,
that is her, cause she thinks she let her in.
Well, we didn't do anything because we didn't know what this meant.
That's because that is that's like going back and forth from the owl to that microphone. I don't know why.
Do we want that there then, or do we?
I mean, you can get rid of it. You can just use the owl. That's fine. It's up to you.
not sure you need it.
Yeah,
Should we continue? Are you?
yeah, you guys are good.
Well, you can't get on and that's.
No, I
Um,
think that's her.
I think that's her. I'm gonna go ask Terry again. But I'm
But
pretty sure
I
that's.
guess, I'm gonna put up a, while we're hearing them, if we don't have a picture. And Penny wants to come into the executive session, I gotta have a picture.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if she's got other people.
But could she be asked to text us that, she's in the meeting, who is in the meeting?
Well, let's just go on with our discussion. We're not there at executive session right now, so.
When you, I can leave this, I won't leave it up, but you can ask to unmute and then. That could help too, unless you want to text her, but
We don't have our phone, we don't have our phone number, yeah.
let me find out.
All right,
Okay.
we're gonna continue after
Yeah,
these,
it's-
I mute on. Block the video. So. Yeah, my last note is looking at the whole town. and-
Yes,
and
make sure-
thinking about. Regions. little regions,
One
little pockets.
61 and also the section of Buttermilk Lane, all those parts of South Thomaston, we have to cover every corner.
So that would be a good thing for us to do from the facility committee. We'll just,
Yeah.
set up a committee to really look at all the areas and try to make sure that we can canvass or reach, I guess
Yeah.
canvass is the wrong word, reach the entire town through the ambassador groups. I'm gonna move right into new business because the results of, I didn't make an Excel spreadsheet of all the people, but I did count numbers and it's a little, inaccurate because there were some of the same people at each of the meetings, but there were around 49, I think, total number is what we have. And then I know that there were some folks at the Guilford Butler Center that did not sign in, so we know. And also then there were some of us committee members that were at every single session, so that's a redundancy. So once I put it into an Excel spreadsheet, then I would be able to say exactly what that number was, which I thought was really good. I thought we had a really good.
I disagree, I'm very disappointed. I mean, I think here, the first one we had, given the size of the room, was quite good, but,
Actually, first had more people, because the town meeting here, we had excluding committee, we had 14 people.
but we had repeat people.
That
at the other
doesn't,
place.
but that's okay, but I'm just saying, we had 14 at the hearing, the meeting here, and and that's not including the committee members. But then with at Guilford Butler Center, and that's because it was hard to get some, but I got at least 8 people, but I know that Sandy said there was like 3 people at another table that were involved, but they never signed in.
It was hard to be accurate about. what
But
happened.
at Spruce Head, not including the committee, and we had the most committee members at Spruce Head, we had 7. We had 16 people. So that's pretty good.
Including the repeat.
That includes repeats, because you had a couple people that came to every one of them, and that's fine. But I'm just saying that, when you look at those numbers, it's okay, it's not great.
Well, to me, it shows that people don't care.
So you were disappointed.
Oh, yes, I was tremendously. either way, also people would have been curious, to come in here and see the floor plans and,
Well, so therefore, the reason for the ambassador groups that we have to keep working on building, a knowledgeable group of people
And
that,
I'll go back for the town meeting to accept Guilford Butler, there was only 30 people at that meeting.
Mhm.
And that was so right there is kind of your,
the
benchmark.
threshold, yeah. the
It's
threshold.
30 and we exceeded 30. We have, we almost had 40, so 38. So you have to look at it that way. And a lot of people, they forgot, and the other issue is summertime, there is so much going on, there's so much.
so do we need to think of more ways of communicating? I know the ambassador seems one way, but I think we're gonna run into, you're gonna have to invite people to come to those and, if they don't show up. I think we need a more direct way to reach
I think
everybody.
that's a really good idea. Yeah, we have to consider all the possibilities of how to reach people.
Is the report currently posted on the website? I don't think so.
With all the photos. and
Yeah.
stuff. It'd be nice to have it.
Yes, I think we need to ask,
It should
Karen,
have been with the last set of minutes that got approved.
Mhm.
but we also have a tab under our committee and it should, I'm looking at the website of all the places it could be. When you sign in on the website, you land on the home page and maybe have it here, this report is available with a link to the report. And then we need to think of doing mailings for the listserv, that we reach a lot of people.
Yeah,
And at this point,
mailings
not just
in our-
attach the report, but ask specific question. And here, that's where it gets complicated, because I would like people to write back, and where should they write back? I mean, we don't have a specific email address. I don't want Terry's email address to be inundated with responses to our mailing. So we create a Gmail address. That could be done,
Mhm.
and ask people to,
Kate Clark was talking about that.
Yes.
The Butler Center creating she was talking about creating our own Facebook page, but also.
you see, but I don't do Facebook, and again, I don't.
No, but probably talking about this is that, well, I do, but,
Yeah,
from
but
a
it's like,
Gmail.
so all these ways, and I think that the email address, because when we distributed the little cards, I don't know how many you got back, but people are reluctant, and when they're in the thick of things, they don't want to write, but.
Okay, so what I'm hearing, I mean, it's just not one or two things, it's really it's a whole process. We have to have a concerted effort
Hmm.
to figure out the various ways and ways to get back to us. so
And
that
let
there's a-
people know that it is important that they tell us, they like one story, they like two story, that yes, go ahead, you could.
If you have your own. Like Facebook or someplace where they can go, you can make posters and have a scannable code on, I don't know how to do it, but I know they do it at school all the time. A scannable code where they can just scan it with their phone and it'll take them right to that site and they can see everything.
Yeah,
I think this discussion is for the facility committee.
Yeah.
This is not for the
I-
nominating committee.
I
So
think
I would
that's
say
true.
it needs to stop.
Okay. It's good though, because
Yeah.
that's where this committee is gonna end up being located, is back at the
We don't
facility.
have any control on
One thing I noticed, and I want to say this to this committee, there were the questions that came from some people, like how many times have you been at the library in the last month? Or why don't I ever see you at the Guilford Butler Center? There were those questions. And I think that the answers have been inadequate. I was talking to somebody and
it. We didn't answer.
who didn't answer.
People didn't answer.
Well, the thing is, that's programming. That's programming. You go to the library because of, various programs, and this committee is not about programming. We have a librarian to do the programming. This committee is about a building. And I think our answers have to keep reflecting that it's not about the programming. We're building a space for a lot of different kinds of activities, including town meeting and social activities, but it's not. It's not, why don't I come to play cribbage?
Well, it's not a
That's-
constructive question to answer, because I could have answered every time I go to the library to get my book for book club. There's nobody there but the two ladies in the library, so they're never there when I'm there. So it's not constructive to have that type of conversation,
Yeah,
in my viewpoint, and I think John Spears kind of answered that when he goes, when I go there, and it's not very often, I never see any of you there. That is not constructive, and so I don't think that's a question that we need to be totally concerned about. But if someone once says, well, we can talk about it one-on-one, but it's not something at all constructive, and once again, it is not in our parameters.
that's right. Exactly right, but it came up at each.
It came up at Guilford Butler, and it came up at Spruce Head by the same people
Yeah, but so
that
It's
asked
like a-
those questions.
I had to think about it for a while. And this person that I was talking to said, well, I don't do ballet and I don't do this. But it's like, that's not really the answer to that question, so I had to really think about that. That we're not saying what the program should be. We're saying what the problem is with the current building and why we think the new building is in store. So I just wanted to put that out there. Okay, so we are at process for approving board members. Right now, we're gonna go into executive session.
I have one question
Yes.
for Chris.
Yeah.
You were at, just because we went on a tangent for these meetings, what was your viewpoint on the meetings?
I think. It's one of the reasons I'm here. I think a community center needs to be a place to build community. And this has obviously become a very divisive issue. And that makes me very unhappy. And Catherine and Sandy know my background. I spent my career building large scale computer systems. And nobody likes change. Nobody likes change. But in order to make change, or have effective change, I think it's couple things. One is everybody has to have a clear vision of why this is a good thing. Because if they don't, because change is hard and it rubs people the wrong way, it's very hard to walk that path. And there has to fundamentally be a really good reason to do it, so that people are willing to do the work. And I have not heard those articulate about this project. And you have Machiavelli has said it very well, and I'm not going to quote him perfectly, but basically he said about change, those who stand to change have the outright opposition of those who think they stand to lose, and only the lukewarm support of those who they think stand to gain. So I think figuring out those pieces is going to be really critical to getting anywhere.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
appreciate that.
No, it's just, it's very hard.
Mhm.
And so I don't, yeah.
I agree with you, actually. I think change. We're gonna have to go through something to get to a place where we're all on the same page. And what that is.
Well, I mean, it's tough because you have a functioning community center. And then we're talking about spending some amount, large amount, $4 million or so, give or take a little. to basically replace that. And that doesn't take into account the transition time for the people who are currently using the center. So I think, committee and the facilities group need to think about that. Not everybody likes change, they just don't. And some people it's harder for others. And I think, the concerns I have heard expressed are about taxes, raising taxes. About how this would affect taxes.
Your taxes have already gone up because of Guilford.
Well, but I think some of this is what it has to be communicated.
We've been paying in our budget for Guilford Butler since 2020. And I don't know the exact figure, but when I was on the budget committee, I asked for it to be isolated. Because when we were given the school, we actually took it over in 20 and then had the costs, the oil, the security, the maintenance, the electricity.
Right.
All of those things are in our budget now. So they've affected.
Oh, sure. No, but I think, again, some of this is breaking out the pieces.
Right.
And what clearly needs to happen with the building and breaking out those pieces. What are, if Guilford Butler was to remain, what exactly would it take to meet requirements? And
How long have you been in South Thomas?
we moved in last December.
Okay, because
I know, and so a lot of
This
this,
has
a lot
already
of this
been voted. Okay.
is water under the dam, but I think people don't listen well until it starts to hit them in the face.
well, the other part is only on. The biggest amount that have ever come to a town meeting was 160. And that we had a couple years ago, because it was one of the votes for this. And then, but on an average, it's just like 101 people come. There's out of a town of 1,500, so it's not a big percentage because people don't want to come and vote.
Yep. No, and I, like I said, it's just,
But that's why, I mean, they don't want to come and vote, but if they have a way of informally giving you feedback, and they have to be told, this is your chance to tell us what you think. We need to figure out if indeed, people want that or not. And, I have my personal preference. I'm here, so it should be easy to know what my personal preference is, but it's not about what I want, it's what the town wants. And
the town voted to have.
but if we get back to that same thing, this is not a way to decide to spend a large amount of money, basing it on 100 people. I mean, to me, it's like, it's not a mandate, I'm sorry.
and I think things may have changed, because things may have changed with the opening of Guilford Butler, because people may have had one opinion of it. And now that it's been open for a year,
It's been over a year, yes.
they might have a different opinion.
No.
I think a lot of people do.
And that has certainly been my impression when I have talked to. So,
But again, who do you talk to?
well, yeah, and
It's the people who go to Guilford Butler, and even though we're told, a lot of them come, how many of them are there?
but no, it isn't just for people who go to Guilford Butler, because ask my neighbors who don't go to Guilford Butler.
Mm.
And so I'm just saying that that's a big change to have not had something in there. And
We haven't
people
had-
speculating,
We never had something. We just had the little schoolhouse as a library.
right?
And then the church did the exercise class and yoga over there.
Mhm.
And so we had, but now they have one place to go.
Yeah, and so, I mean, and you had COVID.
Yep.
We all had COVID,
We all had.
and COVID directly or indirectly affected everything. And people's impressions about.
People want to socialize now.
Oh, yes, and it
You see,
means a
it's not-
great deal to be able to connect in that way, to physically be in the same space.
But you see, it's like to me again, even COVID, to me, COVID is a strike against that building. I mean, there were some people catching COVID because of a class that happened in there and there was no good ventilation and, you know.
Yeah.
So, we went from, we want this building, it doesn't need anything, to now suddenly, oh, well, maybe we can repair it and remodel it. I just wish we had started with that. honestly.
Yeah, so I want to ask you, so how do you think the opening of the community center has changed attitudes?
I think some people were more than happy to see it go. And then when it opened and they got more people in there and you brightened it up and, gave it a little mini facelift inside.
It's, the room up clean. there's
you know,
nothing about it, yeah.
More people go. Especially like on Saturday morning and there's people who have the plate privilege and they're getting more people to come in by having the privilege clinic to teach people how to do it. And I just think that a lot of people have a little bit different view of it now than they did before it opened.
Right. Well, I mean, I truly think we have to be able, we were voted into existence.
Right.
We were voted into the mandate of developing a nonprofit Portland. That still stands, even if nothing happens in the next 2 years, 3 years, or whatever.
Select board, and it's gonna cost money to get people to get those numbers.
All you need is,
But
I don't know, because it's not like 3.5 million versus 0. It's gonna be 3.5 million versus whatever that other figure is. And then you have that other figure and you still have a building, which if we just, I know.
And a building in the end where we still can't have the town meeting, where we still can't have, the potluck and gatherings.
It's not what people originally said they wanted, that's what they do, with the survey. And again, our numbers are slim, the survey produced 75, but that's probably better than the community resilience project,
Yeah.
no, we got 75, but it's still not a good sample, it's still not. I think it's very difficult to get people out of their comfort zone. But, but it's important to do. I do think we need to get those numbers. And I have a question, and I'm very much as a newbie. So, is there a long-term facilities plan for the town? A long-term, facilities plan?
For Guilford Butler?
No,
Or just
for
for
like the town offices.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, because that might be another thing to think about. Is to say, all right, well, the town offices at some point, it would probably be nice to do something with those. It might also, for me as a new person here, one of the things I truly miss is a walking track. A place to do things, a large open space to do things in the winter that's safe. I'll walk in Lowe's if I have to.
I have it in Rockport.
Yeah, but that's actually a pretty small truck. Yeah, and I know, but I think when I think about an aging population, one of the best things you can do is simply walk and walk in a safe space. And so, I think rethinking some of what might be is another approach. That's why it has to go as a long term. Because you could kind of tag some things on that allow a much smoother transition out of Guilford Butler if you had a place that you could start tagging things onto and leave it intact.
It's interesting at Spruce Head, John Spear did have an exchange with Gabe about the flexibility of the building as, as far as it's designed to this point. in terms of adding on, or, you know, if it needs to be expanded. And he was talking, he mentioned the town offices, what if we wanted to move town offices to that site? Could the building be expanded for that? And the answer is yes. You're starting with brand new building, hoping. Exactly that I'm done. So, yeah, I appreciate it. Advice. Right.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Although I think we met Garden.
I know, well, we did, you're driving past.
I do.
Yeah, we met. We talked about solar.
That's right. Take care, bye-bye. So, we have some nominations to consider, so.
Hold on. Are you in the, is the computer still going?
I'm going to make a motion, I have the right language.
Okay.
Enter executive session, at 5:12.
No, you need to say pursuant to.
First time, pursuant to Title I MRSA, Section 405(6)(a)(1) to discuss a personnel matter.
And I'm gonna, before you go into, it, do you have to?
Gonna find out what happens now.
When I see her name,
Yep, she's, okay. Says. Pause, but there's no pause here.
See the thought, yeah. Yep, right next to it, is it?
Okay, stop. Yeah, we want to stop.
But you still have two.
Go to the bottom and end.
YouTube has.
It's an end meeting for all, but this says end. See, this is where it doesn't. Go to the bottom.
Maybe you should have said leave meeting.
Oh, here, wait a minute.